How you doing, everybody? It's Michael again. Today I'm going to bring you a Spanish meal. It's going to be a fast and quick one. It's going to be something that I think everybody would enjoy because it's a yellow rice and corn. And who doesn't like corn? It's a very tasty Spanish meal, very simple to throw together. And then we also make another dish. It's called carne guisado, and it's like a meat and potato stew. And I'm going to make mine with hamburger today because I had it left. I had some left over and I'm going to use it up. But generally we do it with a stew beef, or we'll do it with a pollo chicken, whatever kind of meat you like to do it with. But what I'm doing here today is I'm going to start out by browning. I have about a pound of hamburger here. And I'm browning it on a medium high heat. So we're going to start making this. And what we'll do is, while this meat is browning real quick, we're going to go ahead and start that water boiling for the rice, for the side. So I have about a pound of hamburger here. And this meal is going to consist, for the carne guisado, it's going to consist of, it's got a tomato sauce in it. It has got a sazon, which is a Spanish seasoning. Sofrito, again, which is a Spanish seasoning. These you'll find in your ethnic groups. You'll find the sazon and your spices in the grocery store. And the sofrito you can find either in the frozen section, a Goya product, or you'll find it in a jar in the ethnic section. And it's called sofrito, S-O-F-R-I-T-O. For the stew, it's going to have the tomato sauce, sofrito, and sazon, and some sliced potatoes. Normally we chunk the potatoes into cubes, but because I had sliced, I'm going to work with what I got today, and it's going to be just as delicious, so it'll be good. So we got the hamburger browning. Why don't we go ahead? We're going to make 2 cups of rice today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the stove on high. I'm making 2 cups of rice, which means I need 4 cups of water. Remember, always double the amount of water to the amount of rice. I actually only put 3.5 cups here because the corn has got about a half a cup per can of liquid in it, and you want to do the 2-to-1 ratio. So I put a little bit less than that. So we're going to put that water on. I'm going to put probably about a tablespoon of salt into that water. This is for the rice. And I'm going to add some oil. I would say probably about 1/4 cup of oil to the rice mixture. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the can of corn to it, the whole thing. And then I'm going to add 3 envelopes of my seasoning mix. Now see, me and my aunt were just arguing about this because she would put 2 in hers. I put 3 in mine. She always says I make a better rice, but she only uses 2 of these. But if I make a better rice, then it's because I put 3 in. I'm all about flavor. And she agreed with me. She had to. She had no choice. So we got the hamburger grilling over there for the stew and everything. And now I'm making the mixture. So what we did in there so far was the 3.5 cups of water, the can of corn, which also has the other half a cup of water in it. You see the way the color is coming because of the seasoning that we're using. Again, we're going to do probably a teaspoon of salt. Oh no, I already added the salt. I'm sorry to that one. A little bit of black pepper. Maybe 1/4 teaspoon. And again, I use my powdered garlic. I love my powdered garlic. I'm just going to add maybe about a tablespoon of the powdered garlic to that. Now the sofrito that goes in it, this has green pepper, onion, fresh garlic cloves, a cilantro, a leaf also that's called ricaito. And it's all blended together, pureed together, and this is the base of a lot of Spanish meals. So what I'm going to do with this broth right here is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put in, now I'm using a restaurant style spoon, restaurant size spoon. If you don't have one, I'd say probably about 3 tablespoons of just right into the rice. You don't have to cook it down or anything. It's all going to cook together with the rice. Now, if you don't mind, folks, I'm going to do a little taste test to make sure I got all my flavors there. Right there, I just put it on my hand, and that tastes yummy. So I'm going to let this come to a boil now, and then we'll go back to our beef stew. I'm going to let this come to a boil before we add the rice to it. That's everything you need. Simple, fast, see? And it's rice and corn. It's going to be yellow. It's going to be beautiful. So let's get back to stirring our meat for the carne guisado, which means meat and potatoes. And it's delicious. Now, the one thing I do when I do the stews or anything like that, I'll put my sofrito in now. Again, for this amount of meat, probably about, I would say that's about 3 tablespoons for you guys at home. And that's what we're going to, yeah, that's what we're going to use. Use to your judge. Remember, like I said, it's only green pepper, onion, and the cilantro leaves, and the rica leaves. So it's, you know, it's all goodness. It's all everything you would need in there. So we're going to let that go ahead and cook in with the meat. And then, again, which I wasn't thinking when I set myself up, just keep your eye on the fruit, is I also need my sazon for my beef stew. So I am going to go ahead again, and for this amount right here, she's really going to kick my butt because she says I'm
wasting sazon.
No, it's not. It's not at all. 3 envelopes again. So we put the sofrito in there, the 1 pound hamburger. The hamburger was almost browned. We added the sofrito. Now I'm going to add the sazon and put that in. I'm going to let this cook until the meat is pretty much brown all the way through. There's no draining of this meat. There's no anything. You want all the flavor. Remember, I'm a person that believes food and flavor go together. But I'm going to mix this all together here. And then, once it's brown, once that sofrito cooks just a little bit, and I'm doing this all on a medium-high heat right now. So once that cooks a little bit, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my tomato sauce, which is your base, which I'm going to use 1 15-ounce can of just plain tomato sauce, and I'm going to pour that right in there. And then I'm going to use about a can of water. I'm going to wash the can out with the water, and I'm going to use probably 3/4 to the can of water, because this is going to cook down. It's going to have potatoes. It'll thicken back up. So, you know, the water is just perfect. Let me see. Yeah, that looks like just the right amount. So I'd say about the 1 can of sauce to the 1 can of water. Right there. And like I said before, now what I do is just about a teaspoon of oregano. And then I'm going to do, again, even though this has our garlic and all that, there's just something about my powdered garlic I grew up with. It just tastes so roasted and so much flavor, and I love to cook with garlic. And even though that has the fresh in it, we're going to add just a little bit, maybe a teaspoon, your discretion, maybe a teaspoon of garlic powder on top of that. And then, now in your Spanish ingredients, in your sazon, this does have some salt in it. So you watch when you cook with this, when you add your salt, because it does have some salt in it. But you do need a little bit more, especially, you know, you're going to have potatoes in here, and they take up the salt and all that. So I'd say maybe about a teaspoon of salt, again, into this recipe. So we'll put that right there, and then some black pepper. And you remember from all my videos, all our basic ingredients: oregano, salt, pepper, garlic. And then when we do the Spanish section, it's all of those, plus the sofrito and the sazon. And that makes our Spanish meals. Okay, as you see over here now, the water is boiling for the rice. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to add, I have 2 cups of rice. And remember, this was 4 cups of liquid. It's always 2 to 1. 1 cup of rice and double the amount of liquid. let me just grab another spoon, Christian, real quick, right from here. So we added the rice there, and we're going to let this come back to a boil. And you can't go wrong when you do your ratio like that, the 2 to 1. Now me, I make rice. I love to cook, but the one thing I like about my rice now is once I let this come to a boil and everything, I put my rice on low heat, next to low. I bring it down, if you have numbers on your thing, I bring it down to a 3 or a 2. And I did the wrong one, I believe, yes. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that down next to low. I'm going to bring our carne back up. I put that down by accident. So I'm going to put that down there. I'm going to go ahead and just give this a quick stir up. And then I lowered the heat already. I'm going to go ahead and just cover that rice. It's on a very low heat, and it's just going to cook and steam. The rice will pop open. It's beautiful, and that's complete. We're just going to let it cook now. So to our stew. Now, now that we have all those ingredients here, like I said, we're using a sliced potato today because that's what I had some left from something I was making. So we're going to use sliced, but normally we try to do the chunks like I showed you in Grandma's Last Supper video, like I do the roasted potato, the chunks like that. That's normally what we would put in our carne asada. But I have the slice left over, so it's not going to make a difference. It really won't. It should cook the same. So, and again, why I love this dish, because it's so simple, I'm just going to add the potatoes right to that. And that's about 4 small potatoes. And I do peel the potatoes for this dish. I'm not a believer in peeling potatoes. I haven't peeled a potato in 30 years for anything that I make that's just a roasted potato or a French fry. I don't feel any need in it. But here, because because of the type of dish, the skin is just it's just not the same.
Nasty.
But you see, don't ever say any foods. Food is all good, everything. I don't like somebody that says I don't like something. You could try it and then tell me you don't like it, but don't ever look at something and say I don't like it, but I've never tried it. That's not fair. It's not fair to the cook. It's not fair to yourself, because you're not trying things that are actually out there that you probably would be in love with. So here's our stew that's going to cook, and again, what we're going to do with this now, it's going to cook half hour, 40 minutes maybe. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and lower it to a medium heat. And I'm going to put my lid on, but I'm not going to put my lid on all the way. I'm going to leave it off a little bit, because as this starts to come to a boil, the steam will come out of here, and it will thicken up the broth while the food is cooking. Now with the rice, you want it completely covered because you're steaming that rice inside of that water. So, okay. This is actually the meal, guys. It's all put together. You saw the basic ingredients again. It was fast and simple. We're going to take a short break, and I'll come back and I'll show you the finished product when it gets done. See you in a few minutes.
Now.
Okay, it's been cooking about 10 minutes. So what we're going to do, we're going to go here and we're going to go ahead and we're going to stir our stew up, and just look at how nice it's coming along and sticking it up. The aroma is just amazing right now. It just smells so wonderful. And we're just going to keep it cooking on low. I'm sorry, we're keeping this on a medium heat. We're just going to keep it cooking. Our rice is on low. We're going to finish it. We're going to cover it just the 3/4 the way like we did. Then we're going to go to the rice. And now you see the way the liquid has dried up from the rice. We're going to take it and we're going to stir our pot. Now us as Puerto Ricans, when we stir our rice, we don't go to the bottom of the pan. We kind of leave the bottom without touching it with the spoon, because that creates what we call a pegal, which is a crunchy rice at the bottom. What we do when we take our plates who likes the pegal, they move the rice to the side and they take the crunchy part out of the bottom of it. But you see, all the liquid is dried out of here, so we're just going to stir it this one time. And we're going to keep it on the low heat, and the liquid is already dried out of it, so now we're going to cover it, And you'll see the steaming process. The kernels of rice will start to pop open a little bit and stuff. The rice will dry up a little bit more. And this is all on low heat, so you really don't have a lot to do with anything. We already did that part. Oh, you just want to see. Wait, it smells good too. Wait, we got to show Titi that she hasn't seen it. But see how good with the sliced potatoes that we had left?
Yeah.
It came out nice. It doesn't have to be the chunk. And we make this dish, like I said, we normally make it with the stew beef, and we put our potatoes in chunks. But because I had this stuff left, I had a pound of hamburger in there, and then I had, the potatoes, I had some already sliced. I figured why not just finish it that way. The potatoes cook a little bit faster and stuff, but it'll still be just as delicious. So, I'm just going to cover that. Does that meet your approval, Gma? Okay. How does it smell? How's everything smell?
Delicious.
Okay. All right, you got about another 20 minutes and you'll be eating. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we'll go ahead and leave that pot just a little bit cracked like that. This pot sealed tight, and we're going to let it finish off. So I'll be back in a second and show you the finished product. Okay. Now let's see here. We've been cooking this probably about 40 minutes. So we're done, guys. Everything is done and ready to go. See the way the carne asada, nice and thickened up. And I would say that is ready to go. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to eat family style here. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Make sure my rice is on off. I'm going to give this rice a little final toss and fluff it up. But if you notice the way all the liquid's gone, look at the way that the kernels actually popped open. It's a steamed rice. Every American, what we call them, no pun intended, every white boy loves yellow rice and corn. So it's American Spanish, if you ask me. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get Grandma a plate. We're going to get Grandma a plate ready. We just use plastic here. And the way we do it is we just put a scoop of rice down. And now some people like the stew right on top of their rice, which we do. Or some people just like it right on the side and they like to mix it as they go. So we're going to do a little bit of both for Gma here. We're going to take and put just mostly on the side. And I'm going to put a little bit of it on the top of the rice for it too. Just right like that. And now, if you check out my video for the Grandma's Last Supper, if you remember the dressing on there, we love a nice cold salad on the side of this with some of that Spanish Italian, creamy Italian dressing that I showed you. It makes a great complimentary side dish. And that's it. It's ready to eat, guys. Enjoy, and I will be back with you tomorrow, hopefully, another dish. And thanks, and have a great day. See you soon.